Hey guys, welcome to Crazy Days. I'm Wanda, and today I'm going to show you a little bit what I've been doing all over the greenhouse and why. And y'all, look at these hands. I know I've got dirt everywhere. You should have seen them a while ago. They were black with dirt. That's why I don't have beautiful nails like other homesteaders. I don't go have my nails done. I stay in the dirt, and that dirt over at Pecan Grove is black. It don't come off. It gets in the grooves. You see this? That's called working in the dirt. If you got nails, you ain't working in the dirt very much. Let me show you what I've been doing. I had this one spot that had multiplying onions, and this spot stays wet. This is one of the wettest spots in the greenhouse. So I'm going to change from multiplying onions because they weren't working really well here. And this is my mint, and down here we have all our, I planted some purple green beans and some yellow green beans, and I'll show you what we're doing in there in a few minutes. Now I took all the onions and I put them behind these beans. So all these are the yellow wax beans, the bush beans, and then my aloe. I've got to clip these out. I just hadn't done it yet, but I'll get in here and clip them. I took all the leaves off this. This thing was looking pitiful. I hadn't took all of them, but most of them off. This is growing like crazy, and I've taken and given away a lot of this. Still have some I can deal with probably, but we're not messing with the aloes today. The tomatoes was one thing that I heavily pruned, and you can see they're starting to turn, so I'm taking a bunch of those off today. But the leaves are just looking horrible, even though I heavily pruned it. And so my thought is I am going to take a few of the best and do suckers, and I see where we may have an issue with a worm. Let's try and find him. All right, I don't see him right off, but all this looks eat off. And usually there's a worm, and then here I saw some was eat off. But you see how these are just doing, and that may be from me heavily pruning and it not getting what it needs, but they just look bad. So I've still got blooms, I've still got new growth, and we may take some of this new growth, take these plants out in the next day or so, and just redo the tomatoes, because I can. Now, these are the beans that I've been picking on, and look, I've got a potato came up volunteering here, so we're saving it, but you see I've got yellow beans all in here. They're coming, these are the yellow beans, they're the Cherokee yellow wax beans. I've been picking on these for about a month, so these will be coming out within a couple of weeks. The ginger, turmeric, the wild lettuce, all doing really well. The wild lettuce is actually going to seed, so I may have more seed in the future for people that want seed, but that one plant is going to seed. It looks like I've got another one back here. So a third one back here that may be fixing to go to seed. Wild lettuce seeds in the future, maybe. The GreenStalk, I haven't gotten any more done to it. It's just what it is. I see a red in there. I haven't had time. I just come in and water, prune some leaves, and it's doing great. They're having a Mother's Day sale. If you want a GreenStalk, check out the link in the description below. Really good sale this time of the year. The lavender is doing amazing. This is the first time I've had beautiful, beautiful lavender in here. This little moss rose, whatever stuff is doing okay. The peppercorns are doing okay. I'm going to be taking more of those out and just leaving small peppercorns instead of all the bushy stuff at the ends that I was doing. This one just always is giving me beauty when I walk in. This is probably the first thing I see when I walk in. The white flies are driving me up the wall because it's been so humid. But we're trying to get them under control. I've got some Neem Plus, and we're going to use it on the surface of the ground after I get through cleaning. Now, the cucumbers, I have probably gotten 2 dozen cucumbers off this so far. And the leaves look weird and crazy because, you know, sometimes the white flies are hitting them. You see there? That's what's happening to my leaves. I've got to get it under control. But they're blooming themselves to death. If they made all that they bloomed, I'd be buckets of cucumbers right now, but we had to shut the high tunnel for rain the last 2 days. But I'm still getting cukes, and as I leave the doors open, I get several off of it, so that's a plus. I did the Cherokee yellow pole beans here, and I'm starting to harvest. You can see in here I'm getting some, and the whiteflies are trying to hit those also. That's why I've got to get this under control. You see here, I've been picking these this morning, and I've got quite a few in a little bucket, but I wanted to show you my biggest issue today is this right here. This had taken over my whole greenhouse. All the raised beds were covered, like you see this. And you see what's happening? Look at the seeds. It is starting to go to seed. And I didn't need that. You see the seeds? So, I have been busy. You see all the junk in the floor here. And all the junk in the floor here. And see how neat these are starting to look once I got all that out. I've gotten a lot of the weeds out, and I found that the whiteflies are raising in this. So I don't know what that is, but when I moved it, the whiteflies started coming out. So I know that is an issue that we have to keep under control. This is my crazy pepper that I got from a lady, a subscriber, and it's looking good. I've got the electroculture by it. And then over here I added some of the moss rose and some of the, I think it's petunias that I added all in here to kind of fill in behind the cucumber here. This moss rose is just beautiful, and it makes a great little fill-in cover in several places in the greenhouse. I've left the petunias here in this one spot, and they just add a beautiful splash of color in the middle of the greenhouse. But I also have, right in here is a carrot down in there. There's a carrot here, and there's a carrot there. I am trying to save my own seeds. These have been here almost a year now, so we're letting them stay, seeing how they do. And these, is this impatiens? I don't even remember what these are called. But anyway, I've been letting these are what I moved over behind the cucumbers. Whatever this is, I moved some of these because you see little plants coming up everywhere, so I'm splattering them throughout the high tunnel to give it more color. And this little beauty, I added it this spring, looks amazing. It's fixing to bud out here, it's done bloomed here. All this can come off, but this little plant gives me a splash of color in here also. So far I've picked this many yellow beans, and I've still got a part of a row here to go. So I should have enough with what I've got inside, possibly to do a canner and get a few beans canned this week. I found a few surprises when I was pulling weeds, and one of them is one of my potatoes is already coming back up. We left a lot of little fingerling potatoes in here, so I'm hoping to have potatoes coming up eventually. Potato coming up here. But what really made me happy is the mullein. I found it, and mullein is a fuzzy leaf. Now I transplanted it. It was off over here in the middle of my beans. But I moved it and hoping it had a good root on it that I can keep it going. Miss Lippy gave me this a couple of years ago, and I thought I'd lost it. So that means there's mullein seed in here. And from now on, I'm going to have to be very cautious when I'm pulling weeds to make sure I don't pull my mullein up. When you're pulling weeds, one thing you have to do is know what to look for. See, I had potatoes coming up, and I didn't want to jerk my potatoes up. If you don't know what a potato looks like and you're weeding like I am in beans, then, you know, you might pull your potatoes up. But I found 3 different spots that had potatoes in them on this side and a couple on the other side that had potatoes. That's food for the future. Might not be but a couple of potatoes, but 2 potatoes better than no potatoes, right? So guys, I've got to go. Got to get busy. I've still got this whole side to clean. These beans and these beans to pick. Get inside. I've got to pick my tomatoes. Get inside, get these snapped, and possibly canned today. It's going to be a big day, and I'm excited. This will be my first canning of 2023. Will be canning green beans, or actually yellow wax beans. Y'all have a good day. Bye from Crazy Days.